Hi everybody, I'm Joe Salvamini. I'm principal of Carlson Home Hospital School, and I wanted to talk with you about a process that used to be extraordinarily difficult for me, and it was a process that I tried to make as uncomplicated as possible. And I've shared this information with some other people and principals at other schools, and the tool that I created over here at Carlson, is a tool that's being used in other places in the district. And I wanted to share with you what it is that was created, and hopefully you could find this tool as valuable as we found it to be. And basically, one of the issues that was very difficult for me was in coming up with the budget and trying to understand budget, was to take all this information in the budget handbook. And of course, in the budget handbook, different areas like equipment or personnel are mentioned in different places in the handbook. And yet there are no references that really keep you together and figure out where things are. But to take this information with all the rate sheets, and the rate sheets are like 110 pages long or so, but to take all of this information and all the rules that are contained with this information and try to merge everything together using some of the existing tools like the budget at a glance, and put in formulas into it to make a one-page summary of the entire budget system. And it's a system that we call the Carlson budget in a nutshell. And basically, here's a printout. It's a one-page printout that we share with our SSC and so forth, but it's a one-page printout that on this part of the printout, it looks very similar to the budget at a glance. All the different formulas, are posted in here. But then once you get beyond here, then I put in row totals, I put in column totals. We have column totals up here. I have different rules up here. I have different page citations over here. So if you want to know more about, let's say, for instance, SIM, then you can go to the citations over here, and where it might say page A17 or A22, you'll look in the budget at a glance at those pages, and you'll get a bigger description, more so than what I encapsulated over on the side over here. But this is our budget in a nutshell. And what I wanted to do is to kind of show you the electronic version of it over here. And of course you can print it out, but I wanted to show you the electronic version and what it is that you can do with the electronic version. Okay, over here, of course you can change this to your own school's name. Up here it has column information like this is schools will receive 100% of Title I allocation. With parent involvement, it tells you to use Appendix B in the budget handbook that are found on pages C6 through C11 and so forth. There is one budget column over here that's left blank because sometimes during the budget year we wind up getting another budget to include in here, and then but now let's say, for example, you get in SO46 you get let's say $1,000. Now you tab it over, and right away it's going to calculate your 95%, your 5% allocation, your 90%, and your 10% allocation. So far this year we do not have a funding variance, so I did not include a funding variance in here this year because none was stated yet. Then over here it reminds you that you cannot use P-card in Title I, and over here it reminds you that in Title III it's direct services only. And anyway, if you would add like $2,000 in this budget, And then it starts calculating line totals, how much you have remaining of a balance. And let's say you came down here where it talks about teacher release day. And let's say you added in here, let's say you budgeted, I don't know, 450, actually let's use another number, $480. And I'm using that because that is how much it costs per day. But if you put in the 480, right away it's calculating that you have $520 left. And if you wanted to know, well, what is teacher release day, you can go all the way over here to the side, and you can see, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. You can see where it says, for teacher to attend any Title I funded training observation during the basic assignment. See Bulletin 2643.6, and this replaces day-to-day subs and PD teacher regular from past years, $480 a day. And if you wanted to know more information about that, then you could either go to any of these pages that are cited over here. You've got page A24, A25, A29, and page C2. And the beauty of this is that it will start adding up. If you wanted to, let's say you had $3,000 in this account, and then you added another $1,500 here, it's going to keep adding for you. And then not only that, when you go to the very bottom over here, it will also have column totals. It'll keep the column totals here. It'll also tell you if you start putting some money in administrative, in any of these indirect services. Let's say you put 200 here. It will tell you what the indirect totals are. Now, of course, you want to stay below the 10% maximum because these are some of the rules here. 10% maximum in these columns here. And if you want to know what 10% was, its 10% allocation was $100. You still have $320 left, but of course, since the 10% allocation is $100, you really can't go more than 200 here. You've got to go to the 100. Okay, but the real beauty of this is not so much in it calculating everything for you, but the real beauty is this information over here. And excuse me, it's this information in the citations, as well as the descriptions. Like let's say, for instance, administrative, back here, administrative supervision, X time. It can be budgeted during budget development, requires request for extra duty pay for administrator prior to the start date, and it gives you some other synopsis of what the information was. And when in going through the handbook, like over here for this category, which is school counselor, you can find the information on A17, A18, 22, and 23. It tells you that for 6 hours, the counselor is going to cost the school $113,405 a year. It must be described in the SPSA. The purpose is to reduce student to counselor ratio, and the minimum funding is 0.1 FTE. And of course, you can look at this bulletin here. So I wanted to share this with you because this has made our life, especially when we're dealing with our school site council, it's made our life much easier here. People can see what the different rules are. They can, we can project this up on the screen, and people can say, well, we want to spend more money over here, but then they look at the restrictions and the citations, and then they either realize that they can or they can't, and it becomes a very usable tool, and I hope it's a usable tool for you as well.